done.
See.
Okay.
Wagwan family. Once again, we managed to organize another soccer family get together. I'm the guy with the headphones, M, and of course, we have a cast of characters today. Um, Starting off with KG. Everybody, KG, say what's up.
What's going on, fellas? Back again for another week.
Okay, he sounds very excited, guys. I know you can tell. And then next up, we have Nahom, another Chelsea fan.
What's going on, guys? Another week where we wax Liverpool. Nice being here again.
Okay, so I
I'm
see.
just. We need to check search history after this podcast.
That's for the extended clips. That's for the extended clips. All right, guys. So before I see that Nahom is counting his eggs before they hatch. Talking about you're gonna beat Liverpool. We're gonna talk about that later. But before we get into it, we need to give a shout out to Aydin Peresta. He's still holding us down on the friend status for in our Patreon in our Patreon. So let's give a shout out to him. But before let's jump into it real quick. Let's talk about the games that we talked.
That bad Fort Washington connection, boy.
Bad for us.
Now home. What do you think? Do you think Liverpool have what it takes to repeat as champions with that performance? Is that a championship performance? You think?
I think a lot is being made of that particular game, but even before that, they're on a bad run of games. I think they lost to Arsenal. They beat us, but it was a tough game for them. And then they either drawed or it wasn't the run of games for the end of the season wasn't great for them. So I think it's more form heading into the season, as well as Leeds looked like they could score 4 or 5 in that game. They needed a few PKs as well. Chelsea, we've won titles recently. So we know what it takes to compete. One thing that Lampard says, or every journalist, Rio Ferdinand, they say once you win a title, you need fresh bodies in there to kind of, keep everybody on their heels when it comes to training and competing, so on and so forth. They haven't done that, as of yet. So I think with the signing of Thiago Alcantara, I think that kind of puts the midfielders on their toes. Also, there's rumors that the Dutch boy, what's his name, KG, the Dutch midfielder for Liverpool, the Dutch midfielder, the black.
Oh, Wijnaldum.
Wijnaldum. There's rumors that he's going to go to Barcelona, and so that would be a terrible move for Liverpool. So that further handicaps them in regards to defending the title. But I definitely feel like Liverpool are going to be, when you win the league by that many points, I'll be an idiot not to say that you will be in contention or close to defending that title. But like I said, they're going to need more than Thiago. They're going to need, I think they need another striker. And then they're defensively, if you look at Liverpool last year, they won a lot of games, 1-0, 2-0. It was very close, or 2-1. So defensively, it took big performances to win the league. Their defense has looked shaky in the past few games. I'm talking about last season to this season.
Okay.
And so I think they need to stay on there. I mean, something's got to give in that back line. And then a Virgil injury will also handicap them as well. They don't really have a solid second center back. So that's just my take.
So KG, they have are we not, I have a question for you. Are we not giving Marcelo Bielsa? Are we not giving him, because I consider him to be conceptually, I think he's a football genius. Are we not giving him enough credit for being able to play that way against a Liverpool team that are champions? Less they kind of fizzled out at the end when they already knew that they won the championship. But are we not giving Marcelo Bielsa enough credit? That's the part where you go, KG. Okay, so he's frozen. So KG, I mean Nahom, you want to jump on that question while KG gets back?
Yeah, I think
Bielsa doesn't have credit.
Yeah, Bielsa, I think he's a proper manager. He's a tactical guy. he is 100% fitness. This is where I think that Leeds might get hurt. Is the fact that in the championship, it's not the competition isn't Liverpool every week or teams like Liverpool every week. So what is going to run into issues is playing that rock and roll football where you're constantly running. You're going to need a lot of depth at a high quality in the Premiership. So I think that's where they're going to run into issues because the hamstrings are going to go. A lot of injuries are going to come. So that's my only like hesitancy with that system. But I think you asked KG the question, so.
Yeah, so KG, what are your thoughts on that? Thank you for joining us. If you didn't hear the question, I was basically trying to get your thoughts on Marcelo Bielsa's his footballing strategy. It didn't work out as quite as he planned with that penalty at the end from Salah, but what are your thoughts on like the way how he approached that game as a coach?
Couple things. To speak on Liverpool, in one, I think that if you look at their form going back to even last February, they've been shaky. So I don't know if this is a continuation of the same or because ever since they lost that game to Watford, their form hasn't been the same. So you can go back to Champions League, you can go back to the FA Cup final, you can go back to so many games where they've just underperformed. So that's that. But in terms of what we saw from Marco Bielsa's team on Saturday against Liverpool, I think what we saw is that they are going to play the way that they play. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that when these teams come up from the championship, the number of games is never going to be an issue for them because the championship season, I think, is something like 48 games. So they're playing a bunch of ball anyway. So to say that they're going to get tired at the end of the season, it's not really. I think they're going to be more well rested because they're going to be playing less frequently. So I don't necessarily think that they'll get tired. I think the problem is like when, just like with any system, once you get worked out, there's teams that know how to play against you in the Premier League and have the personnel to hurt you. So once teams figure out how to stop Bielsa's side, it's going to be whether or not he can adjust with the quality of players that he has, because he's not going to change his style, right? So once they start getting beat, once the teams identify who they can attack and how they can hurt them, is Marcelo Bielsa going to stay stubborn and continue to stick to his same way of playing, or is he going to adjust? And I think that's going to be the key question as to whether or not we see Leeds be able to maintain a high level in the Premier League.
So I think for me,
one thing about that, M, is Leeds' biggest problem in the championship was what? Injuries. They had consistent injuries. So that's what I'm saying. But they were able to get away with it in the championship, not so much in the Premiership. Is my thing.
Right,
but most of their injuries are muscle injuries.
Okay, so now where do you think Leeds will end up? Hold on, KJ. Where do you think Leeds will end up, considering that is their biggest hurdle?
I think they're good enough. They'll definitely be like mid-table. I'd say like 10 around and around 10th, 11th for sure.
But what I'm saying is, yes, that was a factor because the championship, you play so many more games, right? But they're going to be playing 12 less games, and within the span of a season, and they're still going to be competing in all of the same cup competitions that they have been anyway. So essentially, right there, that frees up a quarter of what would be a normal season for most teams to again rest, recover. They're playing at a higher level. They're only playing once a week. So I think when you have that type of schedule versus the championship schedule, I think they'll be able to keep their legs, and I don't think they're gonna experience as many injuries.
Okay. Well, outside of Liverpool, there's also Liverpool didn't really play as well as we expected. There's also another team that didn't play as well as we expected, Chelsea. Their performance was not. And I'm very happy to say it. Their performance was not up to par. You guys did get the win over Brighton, but Christensen played well. There's one signing in particular that I would like to talk about, not Timo Werner, because that would be the good thing. Let's talk about Havertz. KG, what are your thoughts on the way how Havertz played this game?
What a hater.
I mean, he was average. Like, I mean, there's nothing. No, he didn't do anything great. Didn't do anything terrible. He misplaced a couple of passes. You know, he's playing in a position probably not his preferred position. And I think once the squad fills in with all the injuries that we have, I think you'll start to see a different Timo Werner when he's able to operate in the position and in the system that he was able to. Well, we bought him. We spent the money for him to operate in.
So what role do you think Havertz will have in the Chelsea system?
He's gonna be the 10. He's gonna be the second striker. He's gonna be playing right alongside Timo. He was playing out wide, so it's not like I'm not really worried about his performance. We saw his work rate. We saw moments, so it's not. There's nothing to really be said. We won the game. If we lost, then we'd be having a different conversation. But the fact that we won the game 3-1, at this point, it's about getting results. It's early in the season.
Well, to me, it looked like Havertz and Mason Mount looked like they can't be on the field together. Havertz, he looked like a pedestrian in the whole game, and I think it can be attributed to the Europa League burnout. But Nahom, if do you have anything to add on the Havertz thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guy hasn't. He was with Germany for a little bit, but he hasn't really played a consistent 90 minutes for a while now. Even if you look at the Europa League, it was you could tell like he wasn't really there. Like he wasn't mentally. He's kind of checked out because of the whole Chelsea thing. And to me, he was only in London for 5 days prior to that game. So I was highly surprised that Lampard played him 70, 80 minutes.
The guy got off the plane. The guy got off the plane and played 80 minutes in the Premier League.
And he was with Germany, so he trained with Germany. He flew to London.
I wanted the L. That's what I wanted.
He flew to London. He left the Germany camp, flew to London. Was trying to find an apartment, training with the team. Like to take all that on, and then we forget this guy's 21 years old or 20 years old. I don't think he's 21. The guy would be 20 years old. So it's a hard transition. The guy I was highly disappointed with is Mason Mount. But he's another guy that was quarantined for 2 weeks and wasn't really properly training. So there's a lot of guys that that didn't really have a proper.
That's the player that you're disappointed with. Okay, so what about Kepa? What about his level of performance?
I think people are like, so there's this like campaign against Kepa. Like, yes, it was a bad save, but it's like every single little thing that Kepa does seems to be this big glorified thing. You know what it reminds me of?
David De Gea.
David De Gea first came to the EPL. Every little thing. Should he have made that save? Yes. But should Mason Mount have closed him down? Absolutely. It's a free shot from outside the 18 in the Premiership. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where he should have saved it, yes. But there's a campaign against him. He comes out of the box, tries to box the ball, and misses it. The commentator is on about how terrible he is. I'm like, wait a minute.
KG.
Relax.
KG. Kepa has conceded more Premier League goals from outside he's conceded 19 goals from outside the box in the Premier League than any other goalkeeper since he came to Chelsea in 2018. Do you think that Caballero should start, or do you think they should get a goalkeeper? Do you think there's a solution do you think Kepa is the solution?
You got to go with what you got, man. So at this point,
you can get more.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we get more, then great. If we don't, then I mean, again, I'd understand if Chelsea were finishing in 6th or 8th or 10th, but we finished in 4th, right? So at the end of the day, we strengthen our squad. If we concede a goal or two, I don't think that's going to be the difference between us making the top 4 or not making the top 4. I feel like, like Nahom said, everything that he does is exaggerated, so it's going to seem worse. That's fine, but we'll still finish in the top 4, and as long as we finish in the top 4 this season, we'll be ready. We'll be ready for next season.
And we're not falling for your alley-oops, dog.
All right. To be honest, those are the only 2 things that went wrong in the game. Havertz had a normal game, and Kepa had 1 mistake. That's really the only thing that I can come up with to go against Chelsea.
Well, in all honesty, it was a terrible performance from Chelsea. Like, Brighton dominated possession. But I think the goal for this season is not going to be possession like it was last year. I actually was happy to see us uncomfortable and keeping our shape more than anything else, because last year we weren't able to do that. We lost that game last season. So I was kind of happy about that. And Lampard hinted on that as well. Is as poorly as we played possession wise, defensively we were very organized, and I was happy to see that.
So yeah, you can't go wrong when you're disciplined. So considering we talk about Chelsea and we talk about Liverpool, that is actually going to be the big game coming up this weekend. Both teams have won, but they're not convincing. KG, what do you expect from this game?
I think a lot depends on well, Kovacic will be back, so I think you'll see a completely different Chelsea setup. In a sense, I think Kovacic's coming back will move Jorginho out of the squad, and then it'll move Havertz centrally, and we'll play Mason Mount out wide, and then probably Pula's supposed to be back, huh? And Pula on the other wing. So I think we'll see a super competitive game. They haven't trounced us. They're not the type of team that, I think we match up against them well. I think, it's going to be a story of whoever takes their chances on the day. And, for us, having Timo Werner up top, I think, that could be all the difference.
Timo Werner was having a hard time with the Brighton defenders. He himself said in his interview that he's not used to going up against these tall defenders. He's not used to going up against defenders that are
having a hard time.
He said that about it. So
that's not what he said. He didn't say it at all. He said it was different. What he said was it was different because in Germany we don't normally have three big tall defenders. So don't take his words out of context. He said it was
you're not going to trump us.
He didn't say it was harder. He said it was different.
He was having trouble with the Brighton defenders, right?
He was not having trouble with Brighton.
He said that it was different. Okay, he said that it was different. With Liverpool defenders, it's not going to be the same thing. Virgil van Dijk, they've been having a rough game. They've been having a rough patch. They were sloppy at the end of the season. Of course, they were already going through the paces because they already won. They were sloppy against Arsenal, and then they were also sloppy against Leeds. Klopp is going to tighten that ship in the back, and I think things are going to be different, but I will let Nahom make his predictions. Let me know what do you think the outcome is going to be on the game.
Look, the fan of me wants to say we're going to wax those guys 4-0. But logically speaking, Chelsea and Liverpool are always classic matchups. I mean, there's always a classic game. 2-1, 1-0. Nobody ever blows anybody out for the most part, right? Historically, that's been how things have panned out. But I think my biggest concern with Chelsea is our defensive. I don't like the two holding midfielders. I want Conte in there by himself, especially with Jorginho in the game, because they tend to pass on responsibility. So instead of going and marking, or staying, they're depending on the other person, and that opens up the middle. And our center backs are terrible because they have a midfielder running at them and a striker making a run, and it's an easy goal. So it's gonna be tough. I'll go for, being that it's at the bridge, I'll go for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Timo with a brace. Kimbo.
Adam, you're on mute. Adam, you're on mute.
KG, what you say? What's your prediction for the Chelsea game?
2-1 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. Figo, thank you for joining.
What's up with you?
We got Figo in the building. So let's have your input on Chelsea and Liverpool game that's coming up. What are your thoughts on the game?
Chelsea Liverpool. That's going to be tough. Let me ask you guys a question: who's home and who's away, and does that even matter?
At the bridge.
It's at the bridge.
It doesn't matter anymore. No more.
There's home advantage is not a thing.
Walk alone. No mas.
Yeah. So
you'll never walk alone. No mas.
So for me, although Liverpool won, this is going to be a bounce back game for them because there's been a lot of after game one. There's a lot of questions out there about this. You know what I'm saying? So Liverpool has been pretty good thus far in bounce back games. So I'm going to go, the last time you guys played, they turned you guys over. I don't think they're going to turn you over this time. I'm still going to go 2-0 Liverpool.
So for my prediction, so
For the bounce back game.
Figo, let me ask you this. Your boy Virgil van Dijk, Mr. World Class, he's been having a little rough patch about. How do you think we're going to be able to fix that?
It's a hangover, man. He's having those guys they just won the Premier League a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like a few weeks ago. So those guys just finished celebrating. You know what I mean? Like guys were on holiday. It's a weird time. If Chelsea is to get a result, it has to be now. But I think Liverpool is suffering from what we call here in America a Super Bowl hangover.
Okay.
And imagine winning the league and then having to restart the league a few weeks later. That's just insane. But it is what it is. Hopefully, maybe Chelsea can take advantage of it. But I don't think so.
It's unfamiliar ground. So
yeah, you're right now, Figo. The Super Bowl hangover, it really is a thing. But let's talk about another team that's not having any Super Bowl hangovers. They're just not having a good time. Tottenham, they have been going through a lot. They've put their chips in the all or nothing basket, and right now it's more on the nothing side. It's only week 1, so I'm not trying to be judgmental, but Jose kind of is. He called his players lazy, and they're not having the right state of mind. KG, do you think his style of coaching is outdated right now?
No.
You don't think so?
How he's still a manager at a top club, so obviously his style is still dated. You can't have guys like Carlo Ancelotti, Roy Hodgson, like all of these old coaches like that are still in the game, like Bielsa, like it's like not really a thing. Like I think that's one of the things that people don't understand. Like it's not can he manage modern day footballers? It's can he manage an organization? And in reality, like that's the question you should be asking, and not whether or not he can manage. These players all have their own brands. They all have their own agendas. Like to manage those agendas, it's impossible for an individual. So you manage the organization. And I think Jose has shown time and time again. Again, it's one game against an Everton side that came well prepared, right? And the world is burning. The world is on fire, And this is what Jose likes. This
KG,
is what you guys don't understand that.
He likes loss.
Jose likes. Everybody is saying the bridge is burning. The bridge is burning. The bridge is burning. And Jose just points and says, "Look what they're saying about you guys."
So Jose likes losing, is what you're saying. Jose likes losing. Okay, I get your point, KG.
That's not what I said.
You said that's what he likes. You said this is what he likes.
The fact that we're talking about Tottenham and the fact that we're saying is Tottenham in trouble, is Tottenham, bad? It's like that's Jose feeds off of that shit.
Okay. So here's my thing on the Jose thing. It's a tough time.
Wait a minute. What kind of hopping is this? Go ahead, I beg. Go ahead, my friend.
It's a brother tag up. Go ahead, Figo.
Okay,
you came late.
Just quick point. I would have been done by now, and it would have been on to you. So this quick point, it's a tough act to follow. Like Jose is coming to a club that was winning. So he came to a Tottenham team a season removed from them going to a Champions League final. So I think his leash is going to be a little bit shorter. And believe it or not, although Tottenham is not Chelsea or Madrid or Juventus or Inter, the job is a tough one in the sense that Tottenham was on an upward trend, okay, after he came in. So, those guys aren't trying to, in my opinion, when you're on an upward trend, you maybe want to bring in a man manager, and they brought in somebody that's not actually as player friendly, as an Ancelotti. So although Ancelotti has been managing longer or as long as Jose, he has historically been a man manager. See what I'm saying? So his style in that aspect is not outdated. With these millennials and Gen X kids coming up, those guys need somebody to put their arm around them. Go ahead, Nahom. I apologize.
So Nahom, what Figo, it sounds like he's saying Tottenham was on an upward trend, but right now they're playing boring football. They're playing counteraction. They're playing Jose Mourinho football. They have no ideas going forward. That's the part that I'm trying to get out of you guys. Like, is this what we need now as a Tottenham team? What are they missing?
I think like this is the thing about Jose. You know what you're getting with Jose, whether it's a style of game, a style of play, his the way he deals with players, so on and so forth. The biggest thing with Jose is he came to Tottenham. There's a reason why Pochettino was checked out because it was these players were reaching their prime. They were 26, they were 27, and nothing happened. That they banked everything on that Champions League, and they're still, I think, rebounding from that Champions League. So I wouldn't necessarily blame Jose for the last season. And this season's only been one game because it was a big tide to turn. I think what will change the game because Jose, he didn't really have the tools that he needed. If that guy gets Gareth Bale, my friend, it's going to be different. I tell you, because they already signed. Look, let's hear me out. They had an issue at right back. Serge Aurier probably cost them 20 points that season. Easy with penalties and rubbish, right? So they signed Doherty from Wolves. Solid right back. You know what I'm saying? They have a proper center back in Sanchez and Underwalden, whatever his name is, right? They have Davis at left back. If you put Bale on one of the wings, now you have an outlet, right? Jose needs an outlet. You know what I'm saying? So if you have Gareth Bale on one side and Lucas Moura on one side, and Kane up top and Son right behind him, or either or, it's tough. And it fits his style of football.
So hold on.
Attack football.
Okay.
And so we'll be naive to say that it won't work. And I don't like Jose as a manager currently. I think he's dangerous, but I'm not a fool. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So I think it's unfair to say things are on the up and up when they were losing they lost 75% of their games when Porsche left. You know
so KG, let me ask you this. Yes, it is rumored that Mourinho they're supposed to be getting Bale. I think he's going to be flying in on Friday. He's a player that has his CV is all the way up there. When he was in Real Madrid, I think he scored over 100 goals. He had 4 Champions League titles so far. But my question to you, KG, is he the player that they need right now? He is hard-headed. We know that he's hard-headed. He has his antics. Wales Golf Madrid. He has been caught sleeping on the bench. Jose Mourinho is also a hard-headed coach. So we have 2 hard-headed players, 2 hard-headed personalities that are going to be going together. KG, do you consider that as a disaster?
It sounds like
Kevin Grant. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Kevin Grant, not Nahum.
I said it sounds like somebody in their freshman year. Anybody can make their guess. He has a beard.
So Gareth Bale he's going back home. So to say that he's going to go back to Tottenham and, act up, I don't think that's realistic. I think that you only go home if you know that you're going to go home and you're going to go and play. I think he sees an opportunity. He sees, he says, and he's reiterated that he still wants to play, but he's not going to give up his money to go and play. There's not really much left for him to achieve in the game if you really look at it from like a playing perspective. He's basically done it all. So I think for him, this is a unique opportunity going to Euros next year to basically go out with a bang. Him and Jose get along well, and regardless of what he's done at Madrid, Jose was the one who first put the wheels in motion to bring him to Madrid. So I think Jose has his guys, right, and Bale is one of Jose's guys. So when bringing him in, he's going to conform to. He knows exactly. He's not a dumb professional. He's been around the game. He knows what he's getting with Jose. So he's choosing to go back. And so again, like Nahum says, like I'd be a fool to think that it's not going to work because Bale knows exactly where he's going and Jose knows exactly what he's getting. And if Bale at his best right now is still a top 10 player in the world. Easy.
KG, you guys are lucky that my job is to steer the conversation and not cause trouble. So Figo, I'm just gonna let you add what you need to add on there, and then we can move on because we still haven't. Go ahead, Figo.
Although you're the host, man, cause trouble, man. You know, enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself, host.
United missed out on.
Hey, no,
Bale.
we haven't lost a single game. We haven't lost a game all season. We haven't lost a game all season.
You
So
guys
right.
have had the worst transfer out of everyone. But go ahead.
No, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that right now. Go ahead, Figo.
I mean, I don't know when the last time I've seen Bale have a 9 out of 9, 10 out of 10 performance. I don't know if you guys think that he's just going to wake up and become a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 guy again. I don't know.
Last game he played started at Madrid, he had, I think, a brace, something like that. Go ahead.
Everybody at Barcelona and Real Madrid that play in attacking positions have braces in that league. So you can't really judge it off of that.
So where should he go play? Should he go play for
Suarez? Suarez still scores braces, and they're looking to get rid of him. So why don't we go after Luis Suarez? So I don't know the last time I've seen Bale have a 9 out of 9, 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 performance. Also, Gareth Bale has been historically injured. You're coming to a league where you're playing more games, and the league is documented to be faster paced and more brutal than La Liga. So although he's played in the league before, that was Gareth Bale in his young teens and the young 20s. Now he's coming out as a 30-year-old man from Real Madrid, and he has to go back to the brutal Premier League. So we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see how this 30-year-old. This is not us leaving Shepherd and going to play over 30s. It's not over 30 league. He's coming back to the Premier League, bro. And it is not gonna just be an easy adjustment because his name is Gareth Bale. That's not how these things work.
So what about 31-year-old Willian? So
right. So I was about to say there has been a lot of 30. There's been a lot of players that are over 30 that has handled themselves in the league. So let's see how. There's only time will tell at this point. But just
make a comment.
Go ahead, Naum.
Well, Hazard left the Premiership and started getting injured in Spain. We gotta stop. I think we give too much respect to England, man. Like recently, Dele Alli apparently was rumored to go to Real Madrid. Dele Alli is not good enough to play at Real Madrid. Not even close.
No.
Zidane rejected that offer. There's too much credit. A guy like Bale, he's not gonna play like he played when he was a left back at Tottenham at 23 years old. He's a professional. He knows how to protect his body. He's gonna play a certain way. You're not expecting Bale to go back and forth. So I think, yes, I agree with Ryan. He does have injury issues, but the question remains: does he make Tottenham better? Absolutely. Tottenham don't have. When Kane was out for 4 months, they literally were depending on Son and Lucas Moura to do anything. They had nobody else attacking. Everybody stayed except those two. So now you have an extra option. Right. I don't understand how that can be an issue.
So Bale left the Premier League as a Player of the Year.
Right. So basically, what happens is Tottenham needed better players, and Tottenham got a better player. That's what it boils down to. So let's see how it's gonna go. But we've been talking about these guys for like 5-10 minutes now, and we have not mentioned the team that actually waxed them in Everton. They bought some players. They bought James Rodriguez. They bought Decore. They got Allen. Like all those players that came in, they actually changed the team instantly. Not like Chelsea, where you guys are still trying to figure out the kinks. But for Everton, those guys actually clicked instantly. Figo, do you think Everton is top 4 material?
No. At the end of the day, they're still Everton. Okay, so like Bernard said last week, those guys are still relying on guys like Theo Walcott and Alex Iwobi to help them finish top 4. But on the flip side of it, you got Chelsea signing who barely finished top 4, signing Timo. You got Tottenham signing Gareth Bale. So those guys, you're gonna have to come harder than signing James Rodriguez if you want to finish top 4. So will they be a harder team to beat going forward? Of course they will. They keep signing players. They keep trying. So we've seen it happen before. One year we saw QPR sign a whole bunch of players get relegated. We saw Fulham invest a ton of money into the squad and get relegated. So what we're seeing from Everton, we've seen before from lesser teams. They're buying other teams. I don't want to say throwaway players. I don't want to call Alex Iwobi throwaway because I have a special place for him in my heart. But once we got rid of Alex Iwobi, we upgrade. So that's who they're competing with. So in my opinion, Everton, it's good to see them trying, but I don't think it's going to be good enough to finish top 4.
So, Nahom, what are your thoughts on the Everton team?
I think I agree with Figo to a bit. I think again, does James Rodriguez improve their team? Absolutely.
Yes.
Does the young bull, as my Philly dudes would say, does the young bull that plays in the middle of the pitch from Watford help their team? Absolutely.
Yep.
Right. Does he help their team? Absolutely. But when Calvin Lewis is your striker, I know he scored this weekend. When they have a scoring problem, and then your striker is Calvin Lewis and Keane, who is an unproven guy that just happened to play 10 games for Juventus that they bought for 27-something odd million. It's not gonna happen. If they bought back Lukaku, that's a whole different that's a whole different story. So I think they'll be in and around like where they'll be between them and Wolves. I think their success is defined a little different though. I don't think they want to make top 4. I think they want to make top 6 and potentially build on that with the finances they get from Europa League. So if they make top 6, but I have, like, Ryan has a special place in his heart for Alexis Iwobi, who won him an FA Cup. I have a soft place in my heart for only EPL trophies. So Ancelotti always has a special place in my heart. He won the double. So I hope they make it to top 4, but
Okay.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
So KG, let's get a quick prediction from you. In the Everton, they're gonna be playing West Brom this weekend. So in the past game, James Rodriguez, they gave in the rating that they gave him was a 7 out of 10. For Allen, he had an 8 out of 10, and for Decore, he had a 7 out of 10. Allen was the man of the match, by the way. How do you think they will fare against West Brom this coming weekend?
I think they're going to rip them to shreds. I think that's kind of the crux of the Premier League right now. Do you have the talent to consistently beat the teams that are the middle rung, right? And at the end of the day, a lot of times these games hang on, can you have that one player, because they're going to sit deep and they're going to counter you, right? And as they counter you, like, they're eventually going to score goals. That's how all of the teams that come up that give everybody problems, that's how they've learned to play, because they have players that can play on the break. So I think what the players that they've brought in does, it allows them to beat the lower level teams a lot more handily, so they can pick up points and they're not dropping as many points as you would expect to get. You know what I mean? Because there's games where you look at it on the calendar and say, like, okay, that's 3 points. I think they can say that with more confidence against the lower level teams by adding the type of individual talent that they've added up front.
Okay, so what number would you put on the scoreline?
I think they're gonna beat them 4-0.
Damn. Figo, what do you say? Everton West Brom game.
We know what Everton is all about. I mean, what West Brom is all about. There's no way they're gonna put. I'm willing to bet. We could put. You don't have to, but if you want to bet 10, I'll bet 10. There is no way they're putting 4 goals past West Brom. Those guys are gonna sit back, let you come. Play low block.
They sat back on the Leicester game and they got 3. So I don't think.
And Leicester finished just outside of the top 4 last season. Everton is not Leicester, and you guys are giving them way too much credit. I'm gonna go 1-1. I'm gonna go 1-1.
It's at 1-1. Now, home, what'd you say?
West Brom should get relegated in January. Like, we don't have time. You know what I'm saying? Those guys didn't sign anybody. They just got one of our young bulls from the Chelsea Academy to play. They just loaned out there, but
they signed
joking around. Yeah, but they're joking around.
They signed Ivanovic.
And they signed Ivano. Exactly. They're joking around. Ivano is in a museum at Chelsea, and you signed him in 2020. Hey, my friend, you're joking, man. You're not serious.
All right.
4. Hey, 4. Next time, bring players.
All right. So speaking of another,
hey, listen. Before we continue to the next topic,
I'm not a gambling man. Wallahi.
10 push-ups, 20 push-ups on video.
For what? For what? The 1-1.
I'm betting for a tie. If they can get a tie.
If they get a tie, 20 push. Ryan, first of all, you can't do 20 push-ups. So let's backtrack on that a little bit. So you can do 5. So let's just do 5.
Yeah.
All right. So if they get 3 or more, I'll do 20 push-ups. If they can get a tie or a win, you guys do 20 push-ups on camera. Is that a deal?
Deal.
Okay.
Right.
You know what? I'm the host. I'm
Whatever
not
gets
part of
the
this
addiction
propaganda.
going, I'm
All right.
down. You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about let's jump gears real quick to talk about another team that signed another old man in Willian. Arsenal, they beat Fulham 3-0. Willian got an 8 out of 10 his rating. Gabriel I don't know what his name is. Gabriel Magalhaes, he got 8 out of 10. Arsenal actually looked a little scary. Figo predicted them to be all the way up top in the top 4 at the end of the season. Figo, what do you think about their performance so far, and what do you think about their performance moving forward?
We got some new guys out there that perform well, man. It reminded me of the Lizzo song. You know when Lizzo said, "New man on the Minnesota Timberwolves, new man on the North London Gunners." Our new guys are performing, man. William came out there. Chelsea guys were telling me William was washed up. I was believing them. And William came out there and, like you said, gave us an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Okay? He actually had an assist to his Brazilian compadre.
It was a corner kick.
It still goes down as an assist. Okay? So the new signings look great. Kieran Tierney, who was a new signing last year but was hurt for the majority of the season. So he's like a new signing this year. He was excellent. And I just think that we're just building upon that FA Cup victory we had over Chelsea. We're building on the Community Shield victory we just had over Liverpool, and we're just going to continue to bomb forward. Arsenal looks good, man.
So,
if I were you guys, I would be scared.
Hold on, KG. This is what happens.
I would be scared.
When Arsenal wins a game, this is the attitude that Arsenal fans bring. The energy that you guys bring is weird, because you guys are always happy for some weird reason. You guys played against Fulham, right?
Oh yeah, Fulham. They're going back down.
You played against Fulham, and let's be honest, West Brom and Fulham are going to be relegated. So in a team of Fulham's caliber, you ended up scoring 3 goals. Willian, he did have an impactful game. But Nahom, I have a question for you. So for Willian, I think he had all 3 assists, and Aubameyang and Lacazette scored. Do you think they can keep that same level of consistency?
See, that's the key word. I'm gonna be honest. I thought Arsenal played a fantastic match, but let's be honest. I think Fulham was like top 7, top 6. How they finished the championship, they just maneuvered their way in the playoffs. But you play what's in front of you, and I thought Arsenal did a great job. The thing with Arsenal is this: the expectations grow too high, and they're heartbroken. You know what I'm saying? They're not humble about stuff. That's what happens every season. They win the first game, the second game, especially if you catch them after they win the FA Cup. It's badges, there's all that
Champions
stuff.
League. They won the
3-1. We win 3-1, and it's like, all right, who are we playing next? Liverpool. Okay, there's a certain you've been there before. I'm talking about consistent wins. So I'm not saying that to make fun of Arsenal. I think Arteta has been one of the few managers that has been able to instill a level of consistency in matches, a level of consistency. They don't look as vulnerable in the back. And so there is optimism there. And that's why Arsenal fans are just like this whole thing. But talking about winning the league, who have you signed? How do you – no, I'm not trying to be funny. Let's say I think it's like a 35-point gap between – no, it might have been more than that, like a 40-point gap. Do you think Willian and those guys make that 45-point gap? I just don't think so. And you have a striker that's scoring 25 goals and you still finish that many points below. I just don't think that Arsenal are being realistic with their expectations, personally, is what I say. But I think, is there an improvement from Emery? 100%. Anybody that says anything else is lying. But I just think, you know how you have a boyfriend, a girl has a boyfriend that cheats all the time, and he doesn't cheat for 4 weeks. So she's like, oh my God. And the guy has a baby. The guy has a baby the next week. You're like, damn. That's going to happen at Arsenal because they set the bar so high. So I think, because I love my Arsenal friends, I think you guys just need to calm down and take a little bit of humbleness. But that's
KG, they do have KG. They do have a reason.
So hold on, no,
Hold on, KG.
hold on.
They do have a reason to be excited though. El Nene, he looked confident on the ball. They had Bellerin, Tierney, those guys that normally have an average game. They were very proficient on the wings. Do you think it's okay for them to ride this high right now?
So when you see a kid building something, and the kid is so excited about what they're building, and it's like that the shit is not going to work, but you just give them a thumbs up. you just hope that they don't try and play with it outside, because when that shit breaks, they're gonna be heartbroken. Except these are grown these are grown men. So when they get heartbroken, I laugh.
Ryan,
Well,
that's messed up. I can't believe we can go. Listen, guys, we can't. No more Arsenal bashing. You know what? Last week they had all Arsenal fans on there. So I think it's only right that we're doing the right thing. Sometimes we gotta humble them. Figo, you guys have a game coming up, and it's against West Ham. I want to hear your prediction first and foremost. What do you think? How do you think this is gonna end?
So the same way Newcastle owns Chelsea, Arsenal owns West Ham. So that is one game, like where we're gonna win. So it's a perfect storm, man. Like I said, we just beat Chelsea. We beat Liverpool. Before beating Chelsea, beat Man City. Then we get Fulham, which is like our baby brothers in London. Now we get our baby brother in London, which is West Ham. Come on, bro. Like it is the perfect storm. We'll probably give West Ham 3. Aubameyang has this thing he's been doing where he cuts in from the left and just places it top shelf on the right. He did it against Liverpool. He did it against Fulham. And he's probably going to score a similar goal again against West Ham, man. So my prediction is I'm going to give him 3-1. We'll give it to David Luiz might make a mistake 3-1.
I'm going to take everybody. I'm going to take their predictions, and then I'll circle back and then pop your bubble, and then we can move on.
No, it's just one thing. Arsenal has one of the hardest starts to the season. They have United, then Liverpool, then City. So that bubble is we're gonna test that bubble.
That's what I told you. Right now, the little kid is still in the house building. Right now, you're just like, oh no.
KG, listen, Ryan. I was gonna wait until afterwards, but you guys are gonna play West Ham, then you play Leicester, then you play Liverpool, then you play Sheffield, then you play City, then you play Leicester, then you play Man U, and then you play Aston Villa. So enjoy your building. KG, what do you think about the game coming up? West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham are in shambles. Club is in disarray. Arsenal take advantage. 3-0 Arsenal.
Nahom, what you got?
I think Declan is gonna have a brace. 2-1 West Ham.
Okay.
Where's the game at? Is the game in the Olympic Stadium? If it's in the Olympic Stadium,
no, it's
stuck at home. So those guys have a reverse complex.
No, Arsenal has they have a confidence. They have self-confidence issues. So when there's nobody watching, they perform better. So I think it doesn't matter where they are. I think they're gonna do really well. But the game.
One time, let's say rest in peace to Troops. Troops is leaving AFTV and moving to America. You know what I'm saying? So big up Troops.
No. Hey, me and B ran into Troops at the stadium, so we're gonna try and let's try and see if we can get him on, man. Why not?
Big up Troops.
All right. So let's get the predictions for the other games that are going to be coming up. That's significant. So we got Manchester United. We're going to be playing our first game against Crystal Palace. I don't want to speak too much on it because it's close to my heart. So KG, let me hear your prediction on this game.
Wilfred Zaha looks like a man possessed, and they got Michy Batshuayi up top now. They actually look like Roy has built something that's, they're gonna finish exactly where you think they're gonna finish, 8th, 9th, 10th, but they're gonna beat teams that that they probably shouldn't beat, and so I just hope it being United's first game, if you go back and look at Zaha and those guys look ruthless right now. So if Harry Maguire and those guys don't come out and aren't ready to play, like you guys might be down 2-3-0 before you look up.
Okay.
So
to end, what do you think?
I think
And not like that.
you guys still haven't signed any defenders either. So I'm gonna go 2-1 Crystal Palace.
Nahom, go ahead.
I absolutely agree. I think
2-1.
2-1 for the Palace.
Okay.
Yo, Zaha is possessed.
Okay.
He's possessed.
Ryan, what do you say?
Well, I'm gonna go with Man United. It's gonna be hard for me to pick. Although it's Man U's first game of the season, if Bruno Fernandes kicks off the way he ended last season, Man United is always going to have the referees on their side, so they probably get a first half penalty kick, which Bruno is 200% from the spot kicks. I'm going to go United. I'm going to go United 3-0 and 2 penalty kicks.
Okay, let me tell you how it's going to go down. It's going to be United 2-0, and that's pretty much it. I don't really want to talk too much about it because I'm very nervous about this season. We only signed Donny van der Beek, and everybody else around us seems like they're...
Jesse Lingard, baby. You got Jesse Lingard. That's all you need.
And Lindelof too. Lindelof, don't forget Lindelof.
Guys, please.
You speak Portuguese.
So with that said, we're gonna wrap up on the Premier League. Let's jump over to something else that actually an interesting game that happened in between the last podcast and now. It was actually in Ligue 1. PSG, they played Marseille, and it was a very highly contested match. Marseille actually edged PSG 1-0, but that was actually not the talking point of the game. There was a lot of red cards. There was a lot of yellow cards, 14 yellow cards, 5 red cards. And there was also an incident of Di Maria, who, by the way, was tested for positive for COVID. He actually allegedly spit on the Marseille player. Figo, what are your thoughts on what's happening over there in PSG?
Well, I mean, it's one of those clubs where there's a lot of prima donnas. They lost a game that they're not supposed to lose. Those guys aren't supposed to lose any games in Liga. They lost a game. Things got out of hand, according to Neymar, which I have no reason not to believe him. He was racially abused, and he himself, that's his reason for losing his cool. But the extent that the whole team lost their cool, I was just wondering, like, where are the team leaders? Where are the guys that are calming guys down? It seems like everybody was with it,
Chelsea.
as opposed to some guys. There was like there's just no leadership, and we've seen that from PSG in the past. A lack of leadership. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going, and it's just another example of that. So, doesn't surprise me. No, not at all. Does not surprise me, and it was sad to see. But I will say, if what Neymar says, that guy said is true, I may have boxed him upside the head as well.
So KG, Neymar, it's alleged. Let's make sure that we put the alleged part because we're not trying to get sued. There's an allegation that Neymar
We ain't got no money, dog.
No. So there was allegations that Neymar there was some racial abuse that happened, but it seemed like from what we were told, the racial abuse happened actually before the incident occurred with the red cards. Neymar had his opportunity to fill in and get his slaps in. But let's focus on Neymar for a little bit, KG. Do you think that the marriage of Neymar at PSG, do you consider that to be a failure, or do you think they need more time?
I think they've gone about as far as they could go with this particular group of players. I think they need to reset. I think they need to kind of change their vision and go a different way. Because just like any team, you come to an end of a cycle and it's time to cash in on your parts and start to rebuild. I think Neymar is about as valuable as he's going to get for the foreseeable future right now. So I think you give him, maybe till January and then, sell him to the highest bidder. And then Kylian Mbappe has already said he wants to leave. So I think next summer, you know what I mean, you're going to have to sell him as well. So, for them, with financial fair play, I don't know how realistic it is, but, that would be a huge sum of money for them to go out and reinvest in, a bunch of young French talent and restart just because, they're obviously not going to get closer to what they got last year. And just like Tottenham, you know what I mean? They're probably suffering a Champions League hangover, just because they just lost in the final. So I think with all the circumstances, I think it's time for them to rebuild. The longer they hold on to this, the idea of this project that in the stage that it's in, just more and more money it's going to cost, and the longer and longer they're going to take to get back to the top.
Okay, so Nahom, real quick. So Neymar in the red card incident, he was banned for 2 games. So he was supposed to miss the game against Metz and the game against Nice, which who cares? They're gonna win the league anyway. Um, my question for you is what is PSG doing? Are they doing the best? Are they doing what they can to get the best out of him, or is Neymar just uncoachable? Where is he gonna go? Like if he leaves PSG, I don't think there's anybody around that is willing to pay that price tag, knowing that it comes with a little bit of baggage.
I think, first of all, that match, the Marseille PSG match, is called Le Classique. Okay, so it's a big match because I believe Marseille might be near Paris, or there's some kind of
Just
there's a
rivals.
rivalry there, so they call it a classic, like Madrid and Barcelona. That's what I meant. But last KG, I know you've been to France. Tranquilo.
Me too.
But
that game,
no,
PSG actually won that game 1-0, by the way.
Right. So I think like, first of all, the first thing I want to say is they need to get Neymar as far away from Mbappe as possible. Because in the last 2 years, Mbappe has become the biggest diva I've ever seen in my life, and it's all because of Neymar. There was recently Tuchel pulled him off in the game, and he's like arguing with Tuchel openly, and so it's not a character that I saw in him before. So I think if they want to move forward, they have to sell the project to Mbappe and not Neymar. That's the first and foremost, right? And then their rough start has been because they haven't been playing the best, but they also had a ton of players test positive for COVID. So they've been using a lot of academy players. They've had injuries here and there. So I know we say they're not gonna get. This is the thing: when winning Champions League is your goal, it's very tough because you're not the only one working on the project. Liverpool's working on the project. Bayern is working on the project. Chelsea's working on the project. Barcelona's working on the project. I can keep going.
Working on a project.
Man U's working on the project. I can include you guys. So it's one of those things where it's tough.
Special ed project.
I don't think they get closer. I don't think, and that Qatar company is not going to be invested as long as we think they are. So I don't think they're going to get any closer to this. So I think they have to. What they're having a problem with is managing the money. So they have to, because of fair play, they have to manage a few things and sell a few players. So they're auctioning off a few players, but they have to build the squad they have this season. They have this season and next season, and that's it for Neymar and Mbappe. So you can't say remove the 2 best players in the world and then try to rebuild. Rebuild with who? You just got rid of the 2 best players in the world.
So, Figo.
With the money you get.
Well, Figo,
who do you buy? Messi? Who do you buy?
There's one team in particular that has been putting up has been up in the argument of getting Neymar, and that's Barcelona. And let's switch gears to Barcelona for a little bit. The way how they've been operating, Messi, things have been going. Everybody knows the dramatic Days of Our Lives, Bold and the Beautiful saga that's unfolding over there. But they're trying to stop the bleeding. They had Ronald Koeman. He's now the gaffer. Do you think Figo, do you think he's able to get Messi in Barcelona to actually refocus and get ready to challenge for the league that they have upcoming?
And quickly, can we get? I feel very uncomfortable. Can we get Ron to back up a little bit off the camera, the eyes and the lips? Thank you.
Look a little different there, my buddy. Like this.
Am I too close? I'm sorry. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. I would say in terms of challenging for the league, those guys challenge for the league every year, right? So it's a given that Barcelona is going to challenge for the league. Did they finish second place last year? Yes, they did. So they challenged for the league last year. Um, you know, the question is, will they be able to challenge for Champions League? And with this current team, I don't think so. Um, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be an issue of Ronald Koeman. I think that the team is just not good enough. They haven't upgraded from Luis Suarez. They have an aging Luis Suarez, and as good as Messi is, an aging Messi. So, in order for them to challenge for the Champions League, I think they definitely have to upgrade at the striker position and bring in some young superstars. They brought in the uh, the uh, the French guy last year. What's his name? From Atletico.
Griezmann.
Griezmann. They brought in Griezmann last year. It didn't work. And usually in the past, when things don't work next to Messi, they move on from it. We saw them do that with Coutinho. We saw them do that with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and they have kept Griezmann. So the formula has been, if it doesn't work, let's move on from it and get somebody else and see if that works. We didn't see them do that this year. So they've kept a lot of the what some of us would consider problems that didn't work with Messi last year. So I think they're more looking forward to life after Messi, and this season might be, a wash in terms of Champions League. But in reference to the league, those guys, they're going to be 1 and 2, Barcelona, Madrid, so they're going to be challenging for the league by default.
Okay. KG, what are your thoughts on this whole Messi saga? Do you think? Hold on, but KG, before you answer, I think Nahom is feeling left out. Nahom, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on? Okay, yeah. What are your thoughts on the whole Barcelona situation? What do you think Koeman is actually bringing to the table?
Well, the first things first. I don't think Barca plan to challenge. They want to win. So when Barcelona doesn't win the league, it's an issue. Second is like being like they literally live by the philosophy of if you're not first, you're last, because they'll vote the president out very fast. You know what I'm saying? But with Ronald Koeman, the rumors of him trying to bring Memphis Depay, like you want to bring a guy that's like almost like Griezmann, almost like he's a weird position. Like he's out wide, he's in the middle. You don't really know where he plays. You have to play around him. You have to build around him. It doesn't make sense. Where I think that they got better, I'm not honestly got better. Actually, yeah, I'll say they got better because they got rid of Arthur. But short term, they brought in Pjanic. Pjanic is better than Arthur right now. Arthur will be better than Pjanic for me, but I think he's more suitable to play in that six. But the one thing they haven't corrected is their biggest problem. A, the middle of the pitch, and B, their back line. They need a right back. They haven't bought a right back. They need a left back. They haven't bought a left back. They're playing all these tomatoes not good enough. Jordi Alba's getting old. They need a proper left back, and the system they're going to play. If you're going to protect Messi, where Messi doesn't track back, you have to have somebody that's going to be able to a world-class right back like Dani Alves that's going to go up and down the flanks, and they haven't corrected that. So I think Barcelona's going to be in for the same story, and nothing's going to change. Messi's just there for the party. He's already 1 foot out.
Yeah, this is Messi's This is Messi's farewell tour. With that said, KG, last question for you: who do you think is going to win La Liga? Barcelona, Real Madrid, or the field? Figo, you gotta say the field. You know what I'm saying? You gotta make it fair.
Yeah, no, I'm actually picking Atletico. I think Atletico hasn't. I think Atletico hasn't sold anyone. Simeone's still there. I think João Felix has another year under his belt. Diego Costa, Alvaro Morata, no fans. I think they're gonna frustrate a lot of teams this year in the league. And if they can get their forward line together, they have the talent, they have the players. So I think again, this is a weird year, and I think teams that are set up like Diego Simeone, who have a very specific style, when the games are coming thick and fast, they can play the same way every week and beat you. So that's going to be my pick to win La Liga.
The last time KG picked Atletico to win, they got 2-1 from RB Leipzig. And with that, guys, our family reunion time has come to an end. Thank you, KG, for your time. Thank you, Figo. Thank you, Nahom. I'm the guy that was asking a lot of the questions today. I'm M. Thank you all for listening. Please leave your thoughts, your suggestions, feedback, or any corrections that you have in the comment section below. For all things Soccer Family, just check it out. Check us out on the Soccer Fam, where you can find our podcast, Instagram. You can also catch us on our YouTube channel, Facebook, Twitter, email. Help support and subscribe to our project for as little as $1 per month. You can get exclusive content and also be a part of the family. So we're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I hope to get to see you guys at the next family reunion. Look more.